Howdy, folks, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Tonight we got a great show for you. As always, the dog is talking in the background. So we're going to get right into this. And tonight we're going to be talking about Theosophy. Theosophy, and what do we know about Theosophy? Theosophy is what? I bet you're asking yourself that too. But I want to say thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. But tonight we're going to learn something, and you're probably wondering what that. We probably all think we know what Theosophy is, and maybe if we understood it a little more, we could, grasp ourselves or wrap our heads around it. Maybe we're into Theosophy and we don't even know it. Could that be? Well, let's find out tonight. And I'm going to do my best to explain it all. But we're going to go off of this book here. This is a collection. The collection. It's from Annie Besant. And tonight we're going to be talking. This is from volume one of 10 books on Theosophy. And tonight we're going to just start out with the basics of what it is and the introduction of what Theosophy is and why are we looking at it. All right. Well, and with that, I always got to have some crazy pictures. So you don't want to look at my ugly mug. But I'm glad that you're all here tonight. And enjoying the show. I will try to make it short and sweet. But as our moon is in Cancer, and you're probably out watching the moon tonight, and enjoying that, you could be listening to this great show as we put it on, looking at the universe, and taking that crazy trip down the spiral stairs into who knows where. That's what we're going to be doing tonight. Taking that trip. So come with me as we go down the rabbit hole. Down the spiral. Anyway, here we go. It's all about Theosophy. Theosophy is derived from two Greek words, theo, and God, Sophia, wisdom, and therefore God wisdom, divine wisdom. Any dictionary will give its meaning. A claim to a direct knowledge of God and spirits. So there you go. There's Theosophy. The obtaining of direct knowledge of God is, as well, we shall see in dealing with this religious aspect of Theosophy, the ultimate object of all Theosophy, as it is the very heart and life of all true religion. This is the highest knowledge, the knowledge of Him by whom all else is known, but the lower knowledge that of all knowledgeable, all else, and the methods of knowing it by largely in theosophical study. Now remember, people, you got to do the studying in order to get anywhere. You can't just, say you know. So what are we studying? God, wisdom. Who is God? Well, that's a lot of things, but obviously God is not a human. He is not from here. He is all around us. We're talking about the great mystery that's been plaguing humankind for all eternity. This is natural enough for the serene knowledge we must be at gaining for each of us. And a little can be done by another, by this and that. So we're just going to skip that part. Okay. This inner or esoteric side of religion is found in all the great faiths. of all the world, more or less explicitly declared, but always existing as a heart of religion, beyond all dogmas which form the esoteric side, where the esoteric side profounds a dogma to the intelligent. The esoteric offers a truth to the spirit. That's you, the spirit. The one is seen and defended by reason, the other a grasp by intuition, the faculty beyond the reason, after which the philosophy of the West is now groping. Yeah, the West is always grasping for something, don't you know? Uh, the West has been lost. You know, the East had their religions, and they were founded by people hundreds of years ago. And then when people moved to the West, which is, you know, the states, Americas or whatever, it turns out that they went down a long trail of what do we believe, and you know, as we're a free country, we're free to uh, believe whatever we want, so we're all messed up. Um, I think it's a good thing because it allows us to think out of the box. It's the mysteries, definitely the mysteries. And so we will jump right into this. The primary meaning. Theosophy is a direct knowledge of God. Search after this is the mysticism, the esotericism. Try to say that 10 times straight. Common to all religions, thrown by Theosophy into the scientific form, as in Hinduism, Buddhism, Roman Catholic Christianity, Sufism. I didn't even know there were so many isms. Like this, it teaches in a quite clear and defined way. The methods of reaching first-hand knowledge by unfolding the spiritual consciousness and by invoking the organs through which that consciousness can function on our earth once more, the methods of meditation and the discipline of life. Now, we talk about that stuff here all the time about discipline, like, you know, controlling your body, you know, being able to do yoga, things like that. Um, you know, if you can't control your body, how can you even control anything else around you? Your body is your closest and most intimate thing you have. Um, Although, you know, and then the functions on earth here. You know, all these religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Roman Catholic, and Christianity, what do they all have in common? They're a religion. They're worshiping some deity somewhere. They are trying to find their way through a common belief. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to have that common belief. You can believe anything you want, but make sure it comes from the heart. That's what I'm saying. Make sure that it's your truth. The knowledge of hence is the same as science of the self. That's what we're studying, because we're all fractals of the God, or whatever, the great mystery, whatever you want to call it. We are powerful beings ourselves. The science of eternal, which is the core of Hinduism. It is the knowledge of God, which is the eternal life, which is the essence of Christianity. It is not a new thing, but it is in all religions, and hence we find the late Emmett Orientalist Max Mueller writing his well-known work on Theosophy, or Physiological Religion. So if you want, go check that book out. Okay. Theosophy is a second sense. The above being the primary is the body of doctrine obtained by separating the beliefs common to all religions from the particulars and specialty rites, ceremonies, and customs which mark off one religion from another. It presents these common truths as consensus of world beliefs, forming in their entirety the wisdom, religion, or the universal religion, the source from which all separate religions spring, the trunk of the tree of life from which they all branch forth. So that's the thing. There's all these religions and they all split off, each one believing that they're the right one. I mean, if you've ever been in a religion, that religion thinks all the other religions are wrong and your religion is right. Now, if you look at the picture behind me, we have a spiral. We have stars. That's a picture of space. What does it look like to you? If you look at that picture long enough, it almost starts to move in your mind. It means that you're a powerful being, that you can make something that's standing still move. That means you're dreaming. That means you're reaching out. So anyway, enjoy that while you can. There you go. The name Theosophy, which we have said is Greek, at first used by some Ammonius Saccas in the 3rd century after Christ, has remained ever since in the history of religion in the West, denoting not only mysticism, but also electric system which accepts truth. Well, isn't that what we're all searching for, is truth? We need a little bit of truth in our life. So, let's moving on here. Comparative mythology. Even among the most degraded tribes of savages, traces were found of similar teachings, traditions of sacred truths, overlaid by the crudities of animalism and fetishism. More isms there, people. How to explain some such similarities? What's their bearing on Christianity? Naturally, they feared had evolved the inspiring religions and the splendid philosophies which had enthralled the civilized mankind. The medicine men of savages, here we go with the savages, that weren't such savages, people, have been glorified into founders of religions, and the teachings of the saints and the prophets were refining of the hysterical babblings of half-apocalyptic visionaries, the synthesis of natural forces, a synthesis wrought out by man's splendid intellect, had been emotionalized into God. Such was the answer to comparative mythology, to the alarmed questionings of men and women who found their houses of faith crumbling into pieces around them, leaving them exposed to the icy winds of doubt. And there you go. That's one of those things, people. If you have a religion, you got to have faith and you got to believe. And the minute people don't have faith and believe, your religion just crumbles into pieces of crap, because that's all it's built on. What do you really have? How many religions out there do you have that are really built on foundation? It's all about faith and belief. It's, it's just there. Well, let's talk about a few of these. Agnosticism grew and flourished What could man know beyond what his senses could discover, beyond what his intellect could grasp? Such was the condition of educated thought in the last quarter of the 19th century. The younger generation can scarcely realize that venerable eclipse of faith. And when you lose faith, you lose your religion, or you just don't have it, or I don't understand. See, that's the thing, is in order to have religion, you just got to have blind faith. You got to believe in something. You got to have that truth. Now, I'm not saying all faith is bad. I'm just saying that you got to have some sort of belief, and religions are based on beliefs and faiths. Your faith in whatever they're telling you is right, and if it rings true with you, well, then I guess you should go with it. But keep searching, people. Keep searching. Okay, unity of religions. Now, I didn't look at this too much. It wasn't too important to me. Well, the outcome of the whole position is that the fact that the community of religious belief is destructive to any religion which claims for itself a unique and isolated position. In such a position, it is exposed to attack from all sides, and its claim is easily disproved. But this same fact is defiance. When all religions stand together, when they present themselves as a brotherhood, children of one ancestor, the divine wisdom. See, that's the problem. Not all religions will ever stand together. They're so divided that every religion seems to hate the other religion. Like I said, they're all fighting for that number one spot, and none of them are ever going to come together. And if they do, maybe that's the time that people really figure out the truth. Don't you think? Okay, method of study. What is Theosophy studying? As Theosophical system of thought is an immense and all-inclusive synthesis, mind my words, of truths, as it deals with God, the universe, and man, and their relations to each other. It will be best to divide its presentation under 4 heads, corresponding to their obvious and rational view of man. Man may be regarded as having a physical body, an emotional nature, and intellect, and though these, he, an eternal spirit, manifest himself in the mortal world, these 3 departments of human nature, as we can call them, correspond to his great activities: science, ethics, and philosophy. Yes, my tongue is definitely tied, and I have a hard time talking, people. Sorry about that. Hypothesis tests its hypothesis by devising crucial experiments and arrives at knowledge of nature and understanding of her laws. Thus, he constructs sciences, the splendid results of intelligence, use of the organs of the physical body on the physical world. We must study Theosophy as science. Number 2, man's emotional nature shows feelings and desires, feelings caused by contacts with the outside, contacts which give pleasure or pain. These arouse him in desires, cravings to re-experience the pleasure, to avoid the reoccurring pain. We shall see when we come to deal with these that the deep-rooted yearnings for happiness, planted in every sentient creature, spurs him to place himself at last in harmony with law. This is to do the right, to refuse to do the wrong. I think I think they're right. As a person, you strive to um, reach out and do what you feel is right. Sometimes it turns out badly and it's wrong, but for the most part, a smart person thinking in the right will do the right thing. And there are people who do bad things, but for the most part, most of us will do the right thing because it's mortally right. It is the right thing to do. Happiness, planted in every sentient creature, spurs him to place himself at last in harmony with the laws. This, that is, to do the right, to refuse to do the wrong. See, that's what I'm saying. Every creature, well, I don't know. But you got to remember, each creature's doing right for himself. So if a bear comes up and kills you and eats you, he was doing right for himself. Theosophy can be looked at as mortal art, mortality art. Number 3, man's intellect demands that his surroundings, both as regards life and matter, shall be intelligible to him. It demands order, rationality, logical explanation. It cannot live in a chaos without suffering. It must know and understand if it is to exist in peace. We must study theosophy as philosophy, which makes sense too. Because when you have something that's extraordinary, you need to sit down and look at it and try to figure out, you know, what it is rationally and give it an explanation. You can't just say I seen something and say I seen something out of the corner of my eye and that must have been God or that was an angel. That was the solar system here. Ooh, moving back and forth. No, that was really, um, it was something. Let's analyze it. Did you see it before? Put science to it. Okay, number 4. But these three, science, mortality art, philosophy, do not perfectly satisfy our nature. The religious consciousness persistently obtrudes itself in all nations, all chimes in all ages. It refuses to be silenced and will feed on to the husks of superstition if denied the bread of truth. The spirit, who is man, will not cease his search for the universal spirit, who is God, and God's answers. Partial, but with the promise of more, are religions. That's right. Why are we drawn when we can't figure something out? We are drawn to a religion to help us have faith and believe something so that we can move on with our lives. Under these 4 heads, all theosophical teachings most important to human life and conduct may be present. There remains a few indications of the practical applications of these social problems, and the mere statement for within the brief compass of this book, no more is possible. Yeah, right. Okay, whatever. You never run out of stuff. Okay, so we're going to move on from there. We're almost to the end. All divisions, okay. All divisions which seek to divide the reality, indivisible spirit, the indivisible spirit, the spark from the universal fire, and unsatisfactory and tend to veil from us as unity and the consciousness, which is our self. Senses, emotions, intellect are all but facets of the one diamond aspect of the one spirit, spiritual life. Religion should be a synthesis of science, morality, art, and philosophy. There are but facets of religion. Religion should permeate all studies as spiritual premise is all forms. Well, we do know that no matter how much we study, we always seem to put reference to a Bible, to Buddhist teachings, or to some Hinduism practice. Um, it's all about those things. So, let's see, stop sharing. There we go. Uh, what am I trying to say with all this? This is it's you got to do what's right for you. You need to study and look at these things and try to figure out what you want to do. That's what it's kind of all about. There are many ways to look at things, and you need to not only have faith and believe sometimes, but you got to have a little science behind it. You got to have a little tangible proof, that you can hold in your hand. You can hold it in your hand. You can count it on your fingers. You could, do a bunch of different things. But you could maybe take a picture of it. But there's got to be some kind of a science factor in that, because I could tell you I got a bridge to sell you, and I could show you a picture of a bridge, and then I'll tell you it's in California somewhere, and I'll sell you a title for it too. As long as you give me that $1 million, I'm good. Of course, the dog wants to say hi. So, anyway, what are your thoughts on that? Theosophy, is it good? Have you listened to Theosophy before? Have you checked out a Theosophy channel? Uh, are you studying Theosophy and didn't even know it? I think that my dog wants to be a Theosophy studier too. She's saying yes, yes, it exists. Definitely somewhere out there. We will study hard. We will look at the world, find our truth, and move on. And with that, thank you everybody for coming. I appreciate y'all. Remember, hit the like button. Leave a comment. We're trying to grow the channel, and I appreciate everybody chipping in and helping out by sharing and subscribing and leaving comments below. So much love to y'all. Peace, everybody. Remember, be the frequency you want to receive. Love y'all. Peace, everyone.